Would you trust the word of a man who dedicated his entire life to protecting one of the most surveilled nations in the world? We are not talking about an anonymous internet conspiracy theorist or someone seeking momentary fame. We are talking about a living legend of military defense. His name is Haim Eshed, and to understand the weight of what he revealed first, you need to understand who he is. For nearly 30 years, Eshed was the head of Israel's space security program. He wasn't just an employee, he was the man at the top of the space intelligence food chain. He was responsible for the launch of more than 20 spy satellites that ensured Israel's survival in a hostile Middle East. This man's competence is so unquestionable that he received the Israel Security Prize not just once, but 3 times. He was also a professor of aeronautics and astronautics, respected in the most prestigious military and scientific academies on the planet. But in December 2020, at the age of 87, General Eshed decided it was time to break the silence. He gave a bombshell interview to the newspaper Yediot Aharonot, Israel's largest media outlet, specifically for the 7 Days Supplement edition. In this interview, and in the book that details his conversations titled The Universe Beyond the Horizon, he dropped a statement that made the Pentagon tremble and the mainstream media panic. He didn't say he thinks life exists outside Earth. He stated categorically, the aliens are already here. And he went further. Eshed said that the reason you don't see ships landing on the White House lawn isn't because they don't exist, but because they explicitly asked not to be announced. According to the former security chief, there is a policy of secrecy not imposed by humans, but imposed by the visitors themselves. If this came from anyone else, it would be ignored. But coming from the man who built Israel's space shield, the world was forced to listen. And what he describes is not just a visual contact. He describes a complex political structure, signed agreements, and an organization he calls the Galactic Federation. If the claim that aliens exist is already hard to swallow, what Haim Eshed said next borders on the unbelievable. He gave a name to the organization managing this contact. He didn't speak of isolated beings or random visitors. He used a political and administrative term. He said, there is a Galactic Federation. It sounds like something straight out of Star Trek. But remember, the person saying this is the man who held the keys to Israel's spy satellites. And according to Eshed, this federation is not here to destroy us, nor to save us. They are here to work. The most shocking revelation of the Yediot Aharonot interview is the nature of the relationship between this federation and Earth's governments. Eshed stated categorically that there is a formal agreement, a signed contract. He said, they signed a contract with us to do experiments here. Stop and process that information for a second. A contract implies consent. It implies that, at some point, representatives of the United States government, which Eshed specifically cites as the other party to the agreement, sat at a table with these entities and gave permission for them to operate on our planet. But what is the goal of this contract? What do they want from us? According to the general, their interest is scientific. He explained, they are also researching and trying to understand the whole fabric of the universe, and they want us as helpers. That word, helpers, is fundamental. It demotes humanity from the position of masters of the earth to that of lab assistants, or worse, guinea pigs in a cosmic experiment we don't fully understand. This would explain the thousands of reports of abductions and medical examinations that ufology has recorded over the last decades. If Eshed is right, these were not violations. They were procedures authorized by a secret government contract. Eshed describes a situation of technical cooperation where the alien presence is tolerated and hidden because it serves a greater purpose of investigation into the fabric of the universe. They aren't invading. They were invited, or at least received a residency visa in exchange for technology or knowledge. And this secret was kept under lock and key until an American president almost let it slip. The question every skeptic asks is, if this is real, how is it possible to keep a secret of this magnitude? In an era of WikiLeaks, Edward Snowden, and social media, someone would have leaked it by now. An egocentric president or one desperate for approval would have played this card. And according to Haim Eshed, that almost happened. He claims that former President Donald Trump not only knew about the existence of the Galactic Federation but was actively involved in the negotiations. And more, Trump was, in Eshed's words, on the verge of revealing their existence to the world. Imagine the scenario. The most powerful man in the free world, with access to nuclear codes and the Pentagon's most secret files, decided to go on television and say, "We are not alone." But he was stopped. And here the story takes a disturbing turn. He wasn't stopped by his generals, the CIA, or Congress. He was vetoed by the Galactic Federation itself. Eshed reports that representatives of this federation intervened and said, "Wait, let the people calm down first." Their justification for maintaining secrecy wasn't military or strategic, it was psychological. They stated categorically, "Humanity is not ready yet." According to the Israeli general, the Federation fears that a premature revelation would cause mass hysteria. They believe that if they appeared in the skies today without preparation, we wouldn't see star brothers, we would see monsters. The economy would collapse, religions would go to war, and social order would disintegrate. Their goal, according to Eshed, is to wait until humanity evolves and reaches a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. They want us to reach a level of sanity and technical understanding before the official handshake. This puts us in a humiliating position. We are seen as violent and unstable children who cannot know the adults are in the next room. Direct intervention to silence an American president proves that if Eshed is right, human sovereignty is an illusion. Who dictates the pace of our history is not the White House, it is the Federation. If you think the story can't get stranger than a galactic contract, get ready. Haim Eshed didn't stop at diplomatic agreements. He spoke of logistics. He spoke of physical infrastructure on another planet. Turn on the TV now and you'll see NASA, China, and Elon Musk's SpaceX running a new space race. They sell us the promise that maybe in the next decade we'll manage to put a human boot on the red soil of Mars. They show rockets, colonization plans, and technological difficulties. But according to the former head of Israel's space security, this is all theater. Haim Eshed claims we don't need to go to Mars because we are already there. In his most physical and verifiable statement, he said verbatim, "There is an underground base in the depths of Mars. And this base isn't an abandoned outpost or ancient archaeological ruin. It is an active, operating facility." And who is inside? Eshed is specific, where their representatives are, and also our American astronauts. Process that. American astronauts, human beings, born on Earth, trained by the United States, living and working side by side with entities of the Galactic Federation underground on another planet. If this is true, it confirms the oldest and most ridiculed theory in ufology, the existence of a secret space program. A program with technology light years ahead of the chemical rockets we see on television. Technology capable of transporting personnel and material to Mars in secret, keeping an operational base far from the public eye and amateur telescopes. This rewrites the history of space exploration. It means the money that mysteriously disappears from the Pentagon budget every year, trillions of unaccounted dollars, didn't vanish. It was invested in building this parallel reality. While we argue about whether there is life on Mars, Eshed says we already have a shared office there. The final question that remains isn't about Mars or contracts, but about human motivation. Why would Haim Eshed, a man with an impeccable legacy, choose to destroy his reputation at the end of his life by inventing a fantasy? Why risk being ridiculed by the same scientific community that applauded him for decades? General Eshed himself anticipated this question, and his answer is perhaps the most lucid part of the whole interview. He said, "If I had come up with what I'm saying today 5 years ago, I would have been hospitalized." He knew the stigma was a weapon. He knew that in the past, speaking the truth meant being declared insane, but he also realized the wind was changing. He stated, "Today, they're already talking differently. I have nothing to lose. I've received my degrees and awards. I am respected in universities abroad." Eshed realized back in 2020 that the academic trend was shifting. He saw that the barrier of ridicule was falling. By speaking out, he wasn't just venting, he was acting as an icebreaker. He used his 87 years of age and his medals of honor as a shield to protect the truth that needed to be spoken. Today, in 2026, we look back and see that Haim Eshed was the patient zero of modern disclosure. He was the first high-ranking official of a nuclear power to say, on official record, "They are here." The mass hysteria the Galactic Federation feared so much may have been avoided precisely because men like Eshed gave us the truth in homeopathic doses. He told us we are not alone. He told us we are watched. He told us we are, in a way, protected and studied. If the base on Mars exists, if the contract is active, and if the Galactic Federation dictates the rules, then humanity is not the owner of the house. We are the tenants. And thanks to the courage of an old Israeli general, we now know the landlord is coming to collect rent or renew the lease. The only certainty we have is that the time for secrecy is over. They are already here. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support us, and become a member to get exclusive access to audio versions of our material. It helps us a lot. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. Until next time.